Hello everyone. I'll be teaching you artificial intelligence and my name is basically we'll start with the basic introduction. So my name is Falguni Pathak. I'm assistant professor at Department of CSA and what I'll be teaching you is artificial intelligence. And this is particularly for, as you can see, is unit 1, lecture 1, and we'll be starting with the basic introduction and the problem of AI. The basic problems that because of AI is being evolved, you can say. So let's begin with the basic introduction and everything. This is an outline of our lecture today, and we'll be covering these many topics. Okay, so what are the objectives or prerequisite we want for for AI? If you want to study AI, what all things you need to know, then introduction and definition and approaches. What are the various definitions and approaches that we have of AI? Okay, then conclusion about the various definitions that we have in AI, and then how we are going to come to an end on the basis of these definitions. Okay, then history of AI means from where we can say that AI is actually coming from. Then there are various challenges before AI. So you can say there are various challenges or problems can be the same. And then components of AI, what are the components we have? And after the whole lecture, I'll be giving you one assignment or exercise, okay, that you have to perform. Because when you are coming for a lecture or after studying that particular lecture, after going through this, you have to be very cautious about whatever the exercise I'm giving you, because that is for your own benefit. So you have to complete it, okay. Then we'll be discussing what are the learning outcomes we have, then cello, and then the references that you are means out of which you can get the basic information about. Okay, so let's begin with the first thing. So first of all, what is AI and how we say AI and everything else? Before taking example or anything else, I would like you to understand or give you a real life example of artificial intelligence. Okay, we are kind of in this era where we are surrounded by various technologies, various machines, various equipments that are artificially intelligent. They are not properly artificially intelligent. What we can say, they are like humanly artificial intelligence, but still they are compared to the normal human being or compared to the normal machines, they are quite intelligent. Okay, if I want you to understand what is artificial intelligence, I would like you to take an example of your basic mobile phone. Okay, so what your mobile phone does is your mobile phone recognize your face, that is face unlock. Your mobile phone kind of what face recognition is a part of artificial intelligence. It's an USP of artificial intelligence. Okay, it recognizes your voice and it takes voice command, that is NLP, which is natural language processing. Okay, so your ultimately what your mobile or what your mobile phone or your assistant is doing, for example Google Assistant, Siri, Cortana, and various other, for example there are various home assistants are also available, for example Google Echo or Alexa. Okay, these are some of the very known examples that we face in our daily lives and then we use in our daily lives. Okay, so these are some of the examples. These are some of the equipments, some gadgets that we use in our daily life, and it makes you artificially sound and intelligent because that devices are artificially intelligent. Okay, now what is artificial intelligence? I'll give you the real life example. Okay, time to time, but I hope this is pretty much clear how your mobile phone, why it is a smartphone, why it is known as a very like artificially intelligent mobile phone. They have various features also, so we'll be discussing it with the relative or respective subjects. So let's begin with the introduction. So introduction says that artificial intelligence or AI, which is a short form of artificial intelligence, is a branch of science which deals with helping machines finding solution to complex problems in a more human-like fashion. Okay, that is very important because what we want AI to be, like more efficient and more relatable. Okay. If we continue in this, basically, generally what it involves, like borrowing characteristics from human intelligence and applying them as algorithms in a computer friendly way. Okay, a more or less flexible or efficient approach can be taken depending on the requirement, requirements depend and establishments and etc. Okay, which influence how artificial the intelligent behavior appears. For example, AI is generally associated with computer science. Okay, but it has many important links with other fields such as maths, psychology, cognition, biology, physiology. One more thing which I want to tell you before moving further. What is cognition? Cognition means cognitive science. It is a branch of science which deals with how your mind, how human mind works, how thought process of human mind works, where the thoughts are coming from, how thoughts are generating, how thoughts are working, how thoughts are impacting. All these things comes under and is studied under this branch of cognitive science. So that is cognition. I think mathematics and others suppose psychology, everything is like you are aware about biology, and then like philosophy is also a very important part of AI. We usually say that it is directly a branch of artificial intelligence, but that's not true, because it is relatable with, because we are using algorithms when we teach machine something, we use algorithm, so somehow it is derived from clustering, and everything depends on mathematics also. Then we have we want machine to behave like human, or to think like human, or to be rational. So for that we have cognitive science. Then biologically, why? Because we are using neural network and everything, so bio is also involved. Then when we say psychology, how human, human behavior is being generated. Okay, I know how you are thinking, but what you are thinking, why you are thinking, it depends on the psychology of an individual human. Okay, so that can be learned with the help of different branch. And then we say philosophy. So there is another kind of a impact that we have in philosophy also. Okay, also, what we can say is, among many others, our ability to combine knowledge from all these fields will ultimately benefit our progress in the quest of creating an intelligent artificial being. Okay, so AI basically currently encompasses a huge variety of subfields, from general purpose areas such as like perceptions and logical reasoning, to specific tasks such as playing chess, proving mathematical theorems, then writing poetry and diagnosing diseases. Kind of, these are some of the fields. There are some of the specific tasks that can be done with the help of AI. Often, scientists in other fields move gradually into artificial intelligence, where they can find the tools and vocabulary to systemize and automate the intellectual tasks on which they have been, working all their lives. Similarly, workers in AI can choose to apply their method to any area of human intellectual endeavor, and in this sense, what we can say is it is truly a universal field. AI is a universal field. Um, I'll give you a real life example how this can be compared. When in the starting, computer systems were introduced, so people usually say this is a specific field. Only people of IT, information technology, can work on this particular system or laptops. But nowadays, as you see, computer is essential part of everyone's life. Whether it's a person who's sitting on a shop, he can, he can perform all his tasks on laptop, billing and everything. It is used in supermarket, then banking sector, then name the sector, and it is being used. Systems and computers are being used everywhere. So it was a perception that it is only be useful for this particular IT field, but that's not true. Other than IT people, there are a large amount of people who's using computer. Exactly, AI is kind of a science branch which is being used in every and each field. But we usually, people say this is a computer sciences branch, but that's not the true. I am giving you at least 5 examples of where AI is being used. And it can be used in the field of medical, it can be used in the field of agriculture, it can be used in the field of, we'll be discussing in details also. It can be used in, suppose, in game playing, which is a very important role, which is an important field also. Then it can be used in various other fields, and there is a huge scope of AI. That is what very enthusiastic and very fascinating about AI. Okay, we'll be studying it step by step. So let's begin with the definition and approaches that we have of AI. There are various definitions are available. Okay, now on the various definitions we are going to extract some like how we are going to define AI. Okay, so let's begin with the first definition. It says the goal of work in artificial intelligence is to build machines that perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. Okay, for example, if you want to replace human intelligence with machine intelligence, and you want machine to act like human, this is what this particular definition is trying to say. Okay, this is from like Nielsen, and Nielsen is a very known person as a in the field of AI. Okay, next definition what we have is like research scientists in artificial intelligence try to get machines to exhibit behaviors that we call intelligent behavior when we observe it in human beings. Okay, there are various scientists were there who says, and on the very first floor I would like to tell you that there was very first time when someone says that it is possible that to make any machine intelligent compared to human intelligence, and people used to laugh at that person. That was the tragedy, or you can say that's a problem when you introduce any new idea, because people are not ready to accept it. But now it is somewhere we are reaching to that definition where we can say that AI could possibly surpass the human intelligence. And remember that there are two very important years, 2035 and 2050, where we are saying in 2035 that is possible that AI will approximately be at the level of human intelligence. And I think in 2050 that will be a benchmark year where AI could surpass the human intelligence, and AI would be more intelligent than a human. And we have various movies also that, like Robot. I think we all have seen Robot of Mr. Rajnikant, and that was a movie. And there are very sci-fi movies also which actually kind of denoting the fact that AI could possibly surpass the human intelligence, and there may be some disadvantages also. So there are some advantage and disadvantage also, we'll be studying it later. But ultimately what is more important is there were many different perceptions about AI, so we'll be studying it. And we have studied already too. Let's see what next definition and approach is. Next is artificial intelligence is technology and a branch of computer science that studies and develop intelligent machines and softwares. Okay, so this is another approach that says this is just a technology and a branch of computer science that basically develops intelligent machines and intelligent machines. Now that's a critical term. How you are going to define intelligent machines? So this intelligence is basically compared with humans. Okay, I'll give you one situation, one scenario, and then you need to understand how this is basically working. Okay, so the scenario is this: suppose there is a murder. Okay, we have one culprit, and then culprit says if the culprit is human, automatically we'll assume that the culprit is not going to confess its crime. And even if he or she confesses his crime, they are going to say that because of some circumstances I committed that. Okay, so they are not going to say that yes, I am kind of guilty. Okay, they fight for the thing because on their own they have some thought. On the basis of that thought, they think that we are doing whatever we are doing, or whatever I am doing is right. Okay, that is why they have committed some crime. Okay, now in the place of human, if there is some machine is there, so according to machine, a crime is crime. If you inserted that information, if you like feed that information in the machine that if you commit some crime, you are guilty. So machine will not understand that. According to machine, if machine is committing some crime, then machine is guilty. Machine is not going to defend herself or itself. Okay, that is where human intelligence comes. That is where rationality comes. Rationality means the power of reasoning and the power of uh, understanding the circumstances and based on that deciding something and then defending something. Okay, that is what rationality is all about. We'll think about this example. With this example, let's see what next approach we have. What next approach we have is like the existing new efforts to make computer think, machine with minds in the full and literal sense. That's very interesting. Okay. Next we have the automation of activities that we associated with human thinking, activities such as decision making, problem solving, learning. That is very important. Decision making is a very essential part, but it can be covered. But the most important part in this all problem is like learning. Human learns, machine does not. Till now, what this is. But we want machine to learn, to adapt, to understand, to think on the basis of that thinking, uh, decide something, and to solve the problem. That is the whole process that we want a machine to follow. Okay, that is the kind of that definition is given by Bellman in 1978. Okay. Next definition we have is a field of study that seeks to explain and emulate intelligent behavior in terms of computational processes. Okay, that is also a very interesting definition and approach. Next is, I don't think that needs any, it is kind of self-explanatory. Okay, we are seeing various definition and approaches so that we understand from various perspectives how the like the current scenario of AI is from various different perspectives. Okay, and we are trying to understand that percept. Next is AI seeks to understand the working of the mind in like mechanistics term, how this mechanically is dealing kind of. Okay, next the branch of computer science that is concerned with the automation of intelligent behavior. That means no human intervention is required when a machine is automatically deciding something in terms of in respect of some matter. Okay, now these are various and so on. There are so many other definitions and approaches are also available, but I have given you only some of them. Okay, if you want to study, I'll give you the reference. You can go and study. There are various approaches are available. There are thousands of people are there, thousands of scientists were there who like who defined AI in their own terms. Okay, so you can study that, but I have given you some of them so that you can have an overview about how this basically is working. What is the different concept of AI? Okay, now we'll study what is the conclusion on the basis of AI. So basically, after an extensive survey of like there are various definitions given by various scientists and researchers like at different times. There are of different times. There are from 1978, then 1990, then 70, 1989, and various times. Okay, so based on that, what we can conclude is AI is a science of making a machine think and act like an intelligent person. Okay, term intelligent person is important to ensure that the actions and thinking that are being imitated and incorporated in machines should be rational. What is the meaning of rational? I've already told you. Still, I'll explain that. Meaning of rational is to have a basic and logical reasoning. You have to have that reasoning, and that is the skeptical thing about human. We have reasoning. We have, that is why we ask why this is happening. We don't just accept it. We question because of our reasoning. We try to find a solution because on the basis of our reasoning, because we have that in Hindi we use word tarkik kshamta. Okay, so we define what is this, how is this, how this is happening, why this is happening, what are the consequences. These are some of the questions that we ask on the basis of what we don't just accept things. Okay, we ask, and that is what reasoning is all about. Okay? And based on that reasoning, we generate a rationality. Okay, that is a part of our uh, whole personality. Okay, so that is the conclusion. Next topic is history of AI. So the origin of artificial intelligence lies in the earliest days of like machine computation during 1940s and 1950s. There is not a specific time because there was some innovations, there was some kind of initiatives were there, but they are not very prompt. Okay, so they are not very certain time. We are giving it a timeline from 1940s to 1950s. Okay, AI begins to grow with the emergence of the modern computer. Among the first researchers to attempt to build intelligent program were Neville and Simon. Their first well-known program, which was Logic Theorist, was a program that proved a statement using the accepted rules of logic and a problem-solving program of their own design. By the late 50s, programs existed that could do a like passable job of a translating technical document, and it was seen as only a matter of extra databases and more computing power to apply the techniques of less formal, more ambiguous text. More like most problem solving work revolved around the work of Neville, Shaw, and Simon or Simon. Some people say Simon, some people say Simon, so it depends on how you pronounce it. Okay, so on the general problem solver, which is like GPS, unfortunately, the GPS did not fulfill its promise and did not, because of some simple lack of computing capacity. In the 1970s, the most important concept of AI was developed, known as expert system, which is our unit 5, and we are going to study it. Okay, which is very interesting, which basically exhibits as a set of rules the knowledge of an expert. Okay. The application area that expert system is like very large. In 1980s, like the development of neural network as a method learning example was developed. Okay, so basically, Professor Peter, which is from university, it's a very well-known university, and he basically classified the history in like three periods. There are various, there are various history divisions, but what we are following is like from the Professor Peter. And Professor Peter basically classified the history of AI into like three basic periods. First is classical, then like romantic, and then modern. Okay, so let's see what is classical period. Basically, it started from 1950s. In 1956, the concept of artificial intelligence came into existence. During this period, the main research work carried out includes like game playing, theorem proving, and the concept of state space like approaches for solving a problem. Then there was a time of romantic period of AI. Don't take it otherwise, but that was like a classified period. Okay, it was started from the mid 1960s and continues until the mid 1970s. During this period, people were interested in making machine understand. Then it is, like that it is usually mean the understanding of natural language. During this period, the knowledge representation techniques like semantic net, what we are going to study in unit 3, uh, was developed. Okay. Then there was a time of modern period. It was started from 1970s and continues to the present day. This period was developed to solve more complex problems. This period includes the research on both theories and practical aspects of artificial intelligence. This period includes the birth of concepts like expert system, artificial neurons, pattern recognition, etc. There are various other things also. So the research of the various advanced concepts of pattern recognition and neural networks are still going on. So this is the basic idea of history, that how basically history being introduced, okay, and how AI have gone through so many ups and downs and so many periods where people were not even ready to accept it, and then people start to accept and to use and to explore, and then we are now using various artificial intelligent devices, and we are looking forward to the time where intelligence of machine can be compared to a human intelligence, okay. Next, what are the challenges that we have, like in front of AI? There are various, challenges we have. Like basically, it is very easy to say if you want to, if you say that imitating human behavior in machine or acquiring human intelligence could be a very easy thing. That's very easy to say, but it is quite hard to actually achieve that. Why? Because you must reflect the various, capabilities which we as a human commonly inherit. Okay, so that is something very important. Like for first example, if we take is a natural language processing (NLP). So like a human, let's see what we have in NLP. Basically, in human, machine should understand the spirit or the meaning of the sentence spoken or written freely in language, in natural language by human. We don't mind grammar as well as composition of sentence while reading or talking informally. For example, when I'm saying something, I'm talking to you, I'm not basically, like keeping track of grammar and composition and everything. If I say sarcastically, okay, this is very interesting term. Sarcasm is something that machine could not understand, but human could. This is a very good example when we say that we want machine learning, like the machine to understand what human is trying to say. I'm saying as human you can understand when I am being sarcastic, but machine could not understand. When I'm saying sarcastic, I'll give you one example. Suppose someone is coming late in the class, okay, and I said, I'm saying तुम तो बड़ी जल्दी आ गए, या क्लास में कुछ जल्दी नहीं आ गए. If there is machine is being at the door, if there is a robot is at the door, it will not understand basically what I'm trying to say. I'm being sarcastic. I'm trying to, like convey a message with the sarcasm, but machine would not understand. But a human could understand that. That is how it is different. Why it is we are saying that we want a machine to understand the spirit, in which spirit I'm saying it, or the meaning of sentence is spoken or written freely in natural language. Okay. Next is automated reasoning. What is automated reasoning is, uh, we have some like stored information, and on the basis of that stored information, what we want to do is to, if we have any question answer, suppose you ask me something, and I am kind of not only giving you the stored database that I have in my mind, but also I am telling you something new also. Okay, suppose in a webinar you ask me some question, that may be possible I have that in PPT, and that may be possible that I don't have in that, like in my PPT, but still I have some information as human in my some database, and I can conclude on the basis of that also. If we have some discussion, we can have some conclusions also. Machine could not do that. Now we want machine to be, machine to have that automated reasoning, where it is a capability to use the stored information to answer questions and to draw the new conclusions. Okay, that is automated reasoning. Next challenge is knowledge representation. That is our whole unit, which is unit 3, and we'll be studying it in detail, that how, like how and what kind of information that we need to represent. Just a second. Because there may be possible we have various informations, but what we need to, which is very important, that how you are going to represent each and every information. Because until unless your knowledge is given to system, your system is not going to understand what is the whole structure of the problem and how we are going to solve it. Okay, let's see what we have in knowledge representation. It is like another great challenge, how to express knowledge which can be presented in mathematical or some logical format. Ultimate goal to get a work done by computer will be to translate the informal sentence into formal ones, which could be like well interpreted by a computer. We use production systems, semantic net, frames like a structure to express knowledge. We are going to study all these structure in unit 3. Okay. Last is machine learning. Like learning is the important property of human. We learn time to time. As there is a saying that human learn from birth till death. Okay, we are learning is a process that keeps going on. We never stops learning, whether it's in terms of any real life concept. We like even if you see your grandparents, your parents, they are learning at the age of like 50, 60, 70 also. Why? Because they have new technology, there are some new things are running around, they are trying to understand like how to like work with your mobile phones. It's easy for us, but it's kind of a whole new and a very restrict like it's kind of a very tough work for them, because how to use WhatsApp. It's very easy for us because we use it on our daily lives, in our daily lives basically. But for them, for your parents, for your grandparents, for your like there may be some people, they are not very familiar with smartphones and everything. Then you need to make them understand. You need to help them. They are learning. Just an example of, but learning is a throughout. Like it's a whole life process which keeps going on. It is what we want machine to learn. That is, we want machine to like we want machine to do. Okay, see, whatever we wish to act, we learn first, then exercise for perfection. That's right. Like practice makes a man perfect, it's the same. Okay, now machine should also be able to learn to adapt to new circumstances and to detect and like extrapolate methods. That is very important, that you need to understand. That is a very crucial and a challenge before AI, because we want a machine to be able to actually understand what we are trying to communicate. Okay, and to learn itself also. So there is one knowledge representation. Why? Because we want to convey some information to the machine, and machine will only understand it when we are able to provide a foolproof information security system and a foolproof information or knowledge conveying system. Okay, that is what knowledge representation is all about. And to machine to learn itself how things are working, how why things are working. That we like there is a we'll take an example of a newborn. Okay, a toddler does not understand anything, but he starts learning, and at a certain age, it, he keeps learning throughout his whole life. Okay, that is how we want machine to do. Okay. Now there are components of AI. When I talk about components of AI, there are various components are available, but in this slide we are going to only learn about hardware components. Okay, so before going further, I want you to see how we are going to basically divide these components. So we are going to divide this in hardware components, software components, and architectural components. Okay. So what are the hardware components that we have? It's like pattern matching. Like prediction system works on pattern matching. How you are going to predict, like the things are going to happen or not. These pattern matching and everything prediction works in, like various industries. For example, sales. Various companies plan their marketing strategy and sales strategy and advertisement strategy based on their pattern matching. Okay. Then logic representation. How you are basically representing the knowledge. Symbolic processing. How the symbols basically, like how you are processing the symbols. Then numeric processing, problem solving, heuristic search. Heuristic search is a very important part. We have it in unit 2. We'll study it there. Okay. Natural language processing. Natural language processing is simply nothing but whatever I am saying. How your, like how Alexa is, we'll take example of Alexa or Google Assistant, anything. So how Google Assistant and Alexa is basically analyzing my thing, whatever I'm saying, and how they are basically translating it, how they are extracting the information based on that, and how they are giving me the output. Okay, that is what is all about natural language processing. Okay, then knowledge representation, expert system, neural network. learning, planning, semantic networks. These all are hardware components of AI. Then we have software components also. We are going to study it in our next lecture. Okay. So basically, this is all about AI. We'll be studying it later in detail. Now, what I want you to done is like this is your exercise or assignment, whatever you wanted to be named as. Before what I want is to, I want you to write this assignment, okay, and in a soft copy. For now, I am instructing you, and whenever I want, I'll change it. Uh, List latest applications of AI, okay, that you use in your daily life. There are various applications, there are various equipment, there are various gadgets, there are various technologies that we are using. One I have given you example is like mobile phone, okay, and natural language processing is like Siri, Cortana, and Google Assistant, and Echo, and Alexa. Okay, so these are some of the very important usage, we can say. They are like assistant. They are assisting us in our daily lives. Okay. Next, your second assignment is to get an idea. You don't have to write it, but you just need to study it because that's kind of very important to get an idea about Lisp. Okay, Lisp is a supporting language which we are going to study, with the help of which you are going to understand how AI basically is working. Okay, we have some in Unit 1 we have some structures and some components of Lisp that we are going to be covering. And so I want you to understand, and the full form of Lisp is list programming. Okay, so I want you to get an idea about Lisp. Okay, so that when I teach you what is Lisp, so you have a basic overview about what is Lisp and how it is working. Okay, now next. So this is your assignment. First you have to write, and another you don't need to basically write. Okay. Now, what are the outcome that you have after learning AI? It's like and you can identify the problems that are like amenable to solution by AI methods, and which AI method may be suited to solving a given problem. Okay, because as you know, AI is a very growing field. Even now, in a time of COVID-19, AI is some of the fields which is growing exponentially. Okay, and this is what gives you a very large advantage. If you want, if you are understanding each and every concept very clearly, then it will be very easy for you to basically grasp the the main important component of how things are basically working. Okay, and future is AI. Remember that the future of today is AI. Next, the learning outcome will be like development as well as understanding of the importance of maintaining intelligent system. Why you want system to be intelligent? Why it is needed? Uh, what are the whole like you can even develop an intelligent system, which is very like self-motivating thing. We'll do that if we have the time. Okay. Next, what we have is SELO. SELO means student effective learning outcome. Okay, so this basically will going to like this is the ability to like problem while you are studying AI. It will give you the ability to solve problems through applications of like theoretical or practical concepts. Okay, for theory we have basic theory, knowledge representation, game playing, expert system. There are various theoretical concepts that will help you. There are various algorithms that we are going to study, like A star, AO star, like the branch and bound method. Then various other methods are there. Okay, and practical concepts we have Lisp. Through Lisp, we are going to understand what are the practical concepts can be implemented. Okay, so you have a basic idea. Then critical and innovative thinking skills. This will enhance your critically and innovative skills. Right? Okay. Then designing thinking ability. Okay, how you can design on the basis of like various important like critical and logical skills can be developed with that. So this is the effective learning outcome. Okay, and this is kind of these are references from which like Rich and Knight is a very well-known book, And if you want, you can have there are various. Ultimately, Google is a source, but if you want to like refer some book, I'll suggest that you can refer this book, Artificial Intelligence from Rich and Wright. And one more thing, there are various other references also there. From Google, you can have, like from internet, you have various aspects, various perceptions, various links are available with the help of which you can download it and you can understand. Okay, so yeah, one more thing which I want you to know is write this is in like in soft copy and keep it in a assignment 1 and assignment 2 and assignment 3 in this category so that we know this is your question and it's not a very like you don't have to write so many things about it, but just a simple thing. So when you come for lecture, I want you to know these two things basically. Okay, so this is your assignment that you have to perform, and we'll discuss it in our lecture. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Thank you so much, and that is it for the lecture.